they found me, contacted me, and offered me a job that paid like twice as much as the other job. And it was like exactly the kind of work that I wanted to do. So that made me a believer. That was like, and everything else for the rest of the day was just amazing. So
Shit happens! Shit happens to you and me. It doesn't matter if you're a wizard, a king, or a queen. Even if you are magic, you gotta agree. It's worth it to talk shit out no matter how messy.
Welcome to Shit Happens, where shit always happens and no shit is too insignificant to discuss. From trivial inconveniences to life's profound challenges and everything in between, this show explores every aspect of the unpredictable nature of existence with your favorite shit talker and host, P.
Yeah, it's P!
Hello, and we are back to Shit Happens. This is my first Sunday Shit Happens at 5 o'clock, because I be day drinking on Sunday. It's brunch day, and it's rainy, and today is Super Bowl. So for some it's Super Bowl, for some it's Usher's concert, so I'm pretty sure most people are right now out there getting Super Bowl ready. All I've been hearing about is Taylor Swift, Super Bowl, and all the amazing stuff. So I do not partake in American football. I do not watch American football. I do not know how it works. So I do not partake in Super Bowl, but I might watch the halftime show. So I'm waiting for my guest, and I hope she's coming soon. I know she knows she's supposed to be here. So in the meantime, I kind of don't want to say all the things while she's not here, because I don't want to. I want her to be a part of it. But otherwise, so I went to watch a movie yesterday. Hold on 1 minute. Sorry about that. So I went to watch a movie yesterday, right? And it's such a weird, like a very stupid movie. I feel like they prolonged it, but of course I supported my boy Justin, and my guest is here. I'm gonna go ahead. I don't know if she's ready. She looks like she's getting ready, so I'll give her a few minutes. She'll give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready to come on, okay? So I went to the movies yesterday, and believe it or not, right, we were there early. So this is the power of also wearing your brand. So let me share that story, the power of wearing your brand. So I went to the movies, and we were there a little bit early. And while we were there, we found another people were waiting at the bar. There's two daughters with their father. By that time, we didn't know it was their father. It was just two women and a guy. So we sat next to them, and we started talking about, oh, the party's over here. Are we even going to make it to the movie? We were drinking and cheersing. And then the bartender saw my jacket and was like, wait, is that you on the back? I was like, yeah, I have a podcast called Talk Shit with P. That's my logo. And he started telling everybody, we have a celebrity in here. We have a podcaster in here. So I started talking to the ladies, and one of them is a mother to the country singer Erin Kibri, and the other one is a niece. And she also wanted to start a podcast. She has a logo and everything. She just doesn't start. So we just started talking about that and future collaborations. And because the daughter is in Nashville, and now connecting me with all these other amazing people. She was like, do you want country musicians in your podcast? I'm like, as long as they're creative and they're willing to talk about their mental health journey, yes. She's like, yes, that's what I do. So it was such a moment, and I gave them my sticker and my kitchen, which is like a bottle opener. They were so happy. They took my number, and they were like, we love your energy, and I can't wait to start my podcast. So just because I was wearing my brand, it ended up to leading to this interesting conversation and future connection and collabs. So look your brands when you're out there, instead of wearing these Adidas, and like even my Stanley Cup has my logo. Okay, so look your look your much. All right, so my guest is ready. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this incredible Hey, Soda, welcome to Shit Happens, where shit
Hey.
happens.
Well, speaking of shit happens, right when I was supposed to come on, my child woke up from her nap, and well, actually, she had a little accident and was screaming for mommy and did not want daddy's help. So
Aww.
yes, and yeah, that she was just like, "No, daddy, I want mommy." And she's going through a mommy phase. So
I mean, you have to soak all that in, because kids are very quick to switch,
true.
right? Today it's you, tomorrow it's daddy, and then next thing you know, it's just about friends and shit. Not even
Yeah,
daddy or mommy matters.
that's true. That's true. So I'm
But I
trying to
feel
soak
like
it all in.
I cursed myself, because ever since I called it shit happens, like every guest has been like a little bit late, or maybe like a little bit longer late, or some shit has happened. Like literally shit ends up happening. But that's why I'm relaxed. I'm like, it's called shit happens. Like shit is
Yeah.
definitely gonna happen. So, but welcome. How are you doing? How is your weekend?
Good, good. I'm excited that the Super Bowl or whatever the thing is. It Super Bowl or I don't even know. Something is
I, I,
happening.
I'm calling it the Usher concert. I'm calling it the Usher concert, because I do not know anything about American football. I am not watching football, but I know I might tune in for the halftime show for Usher, but that's all I know. So I know the
Yeah,
Usher
something
concert.
about Swift's boyfriend or something. I don't know.
Look, Marissa is on the comments and she's like, oh my God, yeah, it's Super Bowl. I forgot. I mean, you're in Mexico, so I don't think you even care right now. But before we get to anything, we're going to celebrate today, okay? So I was waiting to celebrate with you because one, today I realized that being high from Podfest, coming back from Podfest and moving and then settling down and then shit happens starting, I literally haven't celebrated myself winning the award. You know, like to really take the time and be like, yo, have a drink on yourself for that award. And then we're also gonna celebrate. I hate that it's also happening today, but me and Soda know each other through Empowered Podcasting Room, and it is Nick's birthday today. I like to call him my
Oh,
little brother because I bully him a lot. So we're celebrating Nick and Sidhu's birthday was also there. And then yesterday was one of my good friends Clita's birthday. Tomorrow is one of my good friends Sarah's birthday. So I'm doubling there. And then Soda has a win that we're also celebrating. So Soda, share your win, the one you just texted
let's
me
see.
about.
Hmm.
The
Well, I
one
mean,
we were
I did.
texting, the one we were texting about before
Oh,
we came here.
oh, I did have a pretty good episode that I did upload today, so I'm happy about that. No, my biggest win about it is that Sean Savage said that he loved my episode.
And you know when Sean says that, that's legit, right?
I
Because
know,
it's
right? Like
Sean.
he's blunt, so I was
So cheers to you.
yeah, that's a pretty big win. And it is let's see. What is it? It's February, right? Ooh, it's my
Yes.
anniversary next month.
Your
So,
wedding anniversary?
mm-hmm.
Nice. How many years?
6 years, I think.
Ah. Do you know the date?
St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, I'm big on St. Patrick's. I like St.
Yep.
Patrick's.
Yeah, it's
So
my favorite holiday. So now I
me
have
too. It's the green, the luck, the
mhm.
everything. Like, and the drinking, of course. That's that. Any holiday that is very much aimed at drinking is awful. So shout out to Marissa in the comments over there. Yes, let's celebrate. I'm also celebrating Marissa because she fucking nailed finishing her 2 albums before midnight of the new moon, which she was hoping to do. And now I think she's creating a comedy stuff. So I have all the artists in here because you're an artist, she's an artist, she's incredible. And I
Me
met her at
too.
Podfest last year, but she did not come this year. Now, speaking of that, right, I was trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to speak to you in the artistic world. And as I texted you today and you gave me that news, I was like, I feel like I have the perfect conversation for us to have, especially as creatives, not just artists, but just being in the creative world. We get we get so many no's before yeses, which can be very frustrating, especially when you know you are like, good for this, like I deserve this, like I've worked for this, right? And it's funny because Jay-Z recently at the Grammys, he did say some of you are going home tonight and feel like you have been robbed. Some of you may get robbed. Some of you don't belong in the category. Which is kind of powerful, right? Because both of those are true. And you had just recently applied to something, and by not hearing back yesterday, it meant that you didn't get it. So let's talk about how that feels, and how do you pick yourself up? Like, how do you motivate yourself to still keep trying and going when there's constant no's in positions when you think it should have been a yes?
Yeah, that's a great question. I remember about maybe 8 years ago, I applied for something and I didn't get it. And I was just having a horrible day. I left my phone at work. I, just got all these rejections. Everything was going wrong. And I went to the bus. I was on the bus and this lady comes up to me and she was just like, "Hey, can you write this essay that I wrote for math?" I'm like, "You write essays for math?" But anyway, so this random lady, it was about basically the law of attraction and evenness, and what you put out comes back. And she was explaining it in a very mathematical way. And I'm reading, I'm like, this was meant, like, I needed this. This is exactly what I needed to hear. So the rest of the day, I just was like sending out positive energy. Like, I am going to get something better and it is going to be amazing. And then the next day when I got my phone, I checked my messages and I got a call from the studio for this TV show that they were hiring in my area. And I didn't even know that. I forgot that I even put in I didn't even put in an application. I just put my information out on a website. They found me, contacted me, and offered me a job that paid like twice as much as the other job. And it was like exactly the kind of work that I wanted to do. So that made me a believer. That was like, and everything else for the rest of the day was just amazing. So that's what I try to do whenever I get a no. I'm like, okay, it was a no for a reason, because something else is going to happen that's even better.
That's so true. And it took me a while to actually, we say that a lot, but to believe it is a whole other different thing, right? So we say, I used to tell, like, I would be so mad, and I'll try to tell myself that, but sometimes you're still so mad, like, because even though you kind of believe it was for the better, but when you're in that position where you really needed that to work out and it's not working out, it's like, oh my God, what the fuck? And because sometimes the better doesn't come the same day or the next day, right? Sometimes it might come in 6 months. So it's a tricky one, but I like that you found your way of dealing with that, because in this creative space, there are going to be a lot of no's. There are always no's. I remember when I started being a podcaster, when I applied to be a speaker at Podfest, and I applied for a case study because I was like, I'm not good enough to be on the, I just started my podcast, so I'm applying for a case study because I just have to submit a pre-recorded thing. But in my head, when I was applying, I was like, I'm hoping for a no so that I can get used to being told no. That way I can get comfortable with it. But then I ended up getting it, and I was like, oh, fuck, now I gotta do it.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, I started to get very comfortable with no's, because that same reason, where I'm like, well, that happens, like, but then sometimes I would get these yeses for things that I was not qualified for, and I'd have to like suddenly become qualified.
That's the thing. So I've realized that most of the times, I think what made me, the lesson I learned from that to me was that sometimes we think, just because we think we are good for that position or that particular job, or that doesn't mean we actually are.
That's true.
Maybe we could be better than that. That's why it's not for us, but we are just so consumed with a shiny thing that's in front of us at the moment that we're like, no, I want that. I want that. You remember this meme? I don't know. A long time ago, this meme used to circulate a lot, where a child is holding a little teddy bear, and then God is asking it for it, and in the back of his hand, he has a bigger teddy bear for the child. Says like, give me that so I can give you something. But because sometimes we're so content with like, no, you're missing that. So that whenever I would see that meme, it would always remind me that what is not for you will never be for you. Like no matter how much you hunt for it or run for it.
Yeah.
And that's not only in the creative world, even in our personal lives, right? Sometimes shit happens because we kept on hanging on to shit that wasn't meant to be hanged on to.
Yeah, and I mean with the creative world, especially, I don't know, it's probably like this in every field, but like with the animation world especially, it's constantly changing and you're constantly having to adapt. That's been my entire journey, is like changing direction and adapting and figuring out a new solution when things don't work out. So
and how and that's so fascinating, because you're right, like the anime world, especially now with the AI, right? It's constantly evolving. So how do you stay grounded with not losing your sense of style, but also incorporating the new things that are coming out? Because it's so easy to get lost and just want to incorporate everything, where you lose yourself and you don't even know where your art is heading. So how do you stay grounded in that?
it's funny, we actually talk a little bit about this in the episode I uploaded today about kind of finding that balance between business and your authentic creativity. We talk about how it really comes down to your core principles and the core, not so the core principles of what you believe, but also the basics of what you are as an artist. So, you know, starting out with traditional animation, then switching to digital, then switching to writing, then switching to all these different things. There's the element of storytelling, the element of motion, the element of explaining a feeling. Those things are the same in all different types of art. So really honing in on those specific aspects is the key principle to, you know, surviving through all that change, in my opinion.
I like that. And by the way, when you were sharing your story, Marisa was like, "Oh my God, that story is awesome." And when I was talking about the meme, she said, "I think of that meme often." It's amazing, because I also think anytime I'm like, man, maybe there's something. But then there's also that thin line where you can't constantly keep thinking there's something better, that you also end up disrespecting or losing what you have because you're always seeking something better. Like there's that balance, you know. Everything comes down to balance, like how much is too much and how much is too little.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us, we tend to glamorize either the past or the future. And I know I have a very difficult time just staying in the present, because we romanticize what has been or what might be in the future. So yeah, just like really finding little things in the moment, especially with my daughter. She's my grounding technique, I guess. Just like anytime I am like, oh, but I wish I could be doing this, or remember back when I did this. I'm like, well, I'm in this moment right now with my precious 3-year-old. She's not going to be 3 for that much longer. She turns 4 next month. And if I'm not focusing in this moment now, like I'm going to miss it. So I think that's a really important aspect too.
That's so true. I'm the same. I'm learning, like these days, I'm learning to just be in the present and not worry so much about the future. And because I've had some pretty awesome past lives, so sometimes when things are going hard, I try to be like, man, I wish it was back then, man. But I'm trying to get those thoughts out. Like, I've lived that moment. I should be grateful that I've lived that moment, but we're not going back. Like, there's no going back. That's it. You gotta concentrate on now and slowly sliding into the future. Like, yes, you can think about the future, but just don't overdo it or over fantasize of the future, that you lose touch of the present. That's a very And it's funny because it's such a simple thing, yet it's such a big important reminder to people. Like, because we,
Yeah.
especially in this world of go, 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 where everybody's trying to be a hustler and to do things and to do everything in one time. And people are constantly on the go, that you lose touch of the now, like what is really happening around you right now.
Yeah, I was actually talking with my therapist about this last week, how I have this fear of things being calm in my life. I It terrifies me because my life has always been so hectic and crazy. And so anytime, like right now, I don't need to do a podcast. I don't need to be on social media. I don't need to do all these things. I could just chill with my child. But it's like I choose to add these extra things to my life that I don't really need, because it's like this not doing, not overworking myself and stressing myself out. Like it's just so foreign to me. So I'm
But
trying to have little bits of time that I can just.
But I feel with the podcast thing, because that's your art, that's your passion. So it's not like you need to, but it's what fuels your soul. Because we all need that thing. Yes, I'm not saying people who are like, yes, your kid is your life and everything, but you still need a life outside of your child. You still need
That's
that's
true.
something that is just for you, outside your marriage, outside your family relationship, outside your friendship, something that just fuels your soul. Because if it's just your child, your child, your child,
Yeah.
you will also still get drained, because it gets to a point where I know being with a toddler 24/7 every day, it's not an easy thing. Like, you need something that at least keeps you safe.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is so true. And especially being a military spouse, like, and not, constantly having to move and have so much of your identity as a military spouse. You, so you're your military spouse, you're a mom, those are the two things that you are. And so it's like I can't have a normal job because we're always working. And my job was so much of my identity before. So it's like now it's you kind of lose it. So I guess that's why I tried doing all these different things, whether it's writing, whether it's trying to comic. Like I tried making a web comic. I tried, I was doing the AI art thing for a while, and that didn't work out. And then the digital art, and then now it's podcasting. And I feel like I keep, nothing is really working out for me. But as long as I'm, trying, I guess it's like I have at least something that I could say, instead of, I don't want to say just a mom, because that is a huge thing, but I like to have something that's special
Yeah,
about.
yeah. And that's, first of all, don't say everything's not working, because you're doing amazing with your podcast. Just look, it's just that certain things take a little bit time to grow, because you gotta really nurture
Yeah.
them. And depending on that, so I feel like there's a bright future in your art world. So don't downplay yourself, girl. Do not downplay yourself. And second, that's the conversation I had with Jamie as well, because so many people feel like the title mom is enough, like just a mom, but you're more than just
Yeah.
a mom. And
Hmm.
that's why she ended up starting that Power Moms Network, for moms to be to understand that they have more power than the so-called title of just a mom. I'm just a mom. No, you're more than just a mom.
Yeah.
And speaking of it, I'm gonna make a funny joke, but therapy is not funny. But I'm sarcastic and I can't help it. So when you said you were talking to your therapist last week that everything was calm and you don't like when things, and literally, didn't you guys have earthquakes? So that the gods had you. You wanted some shakiness, and then you were talking about it being too calm, and then the earthquake happened.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is because I usually have dreams before like an earthquake happens. I usually have dreams about earthquakes. So like right after I gave birth, I was living in Utah at the time, and I kept having these dreams about earthquakes. I'm like, we don't have earthquakes in Utah, very rarely. Like it had been years. And then it was like, no, no, earthquake is happening. And then like the biggest earthquake in like a decade happened. I'm like, yeah. So,
Marissa in the comments is saying you have done so many cool things. She really has. And for people who don't know the backstory of my Shit Happens logo, Actually, the anime, the illustrate that's on my logo, Soda did it for me. So anytime you go on a podcast, she draws a powerful
Powerpuff.
character of you, and I loved mine so much, and I was like, this works as a logo. So even when and it's funny because most of the time when I'm creating my logos, right, I also think about my merch. How will it look? But as soon as you gave me that before I even created a logo, you remember I told you, oh my God, this is going to be some dope ass merch, because I could already see the merch, and I had to make sure that I was like, I created some shit happens merch, and there are only few people out there who have shit happens merch, including Chase of Mopad. He has a shit happens glass. Soda has a bucket hat, because I had to
Yeah,
make sure.
My toddler stole it. I have to find where she put it.
Listen, even
She
Jamie
liked
was
it,
like,
and she hid it from me.
Jamie was like, Jordan is trying to steal mine, because I gave Jamie one as well while we were there. So she is fucking talented and does incredible things. So of course, don't downplay yourself, girl. And sometimes we don't see the progress we have done right there and there, because we are our biggest critics, right? So we see like, I'm still working hard, I'm still trying. I was at Podfest, and somebody walked up to me and they're like, oh my God, I met Soda. She did your art, right? I was like, oh fuck yes. So you see, for you to think that all these things that people are seeing, people are noticing. I know sometimes the process is a little bit longer, but we are so quick to want to see our progress, but other people see it before we see it. And I think that's why I like going to conferences like Podfest, because people who have seen me, like, you see, we went in January. So when we go again back next year in January, people are going to be seeing all the shit I'm doing. And it's like a little validation. We all want validation, especially when we're doing these things where you don't get instant validation. Like a podcast, people are not quick to leave reviews, so you don't know if it's really touching somebody or helping somebody. But when you're at podcast and people are telling you, yo, I've seen your growth, yo, you've done this, what you did there was amazing. Like that validation just fuels me to come back home and continue creating and doing. And that's why I like surrounding myself with creators, because we validate each other and fuel our fuels, because our passion needs to be fueled, and our families can't do that because they don't understand this world that we're trying to do. Like they just think like, oh, you're just drawing on your iPad, right?
Well, I think for me, like, because I totally get that it takes usually a year or two to really have it pick up. I have a problem where I'm comparing myself to a year ago, where I did have a lot of recognition. I was getting comments every single day. I was having people telling me like, "Oh my gosh, I'm your biggest fan." Like I was getting like so much flattering stuff that I don't want to say I got like big headed, but I got like,
You should trust me. When I won my award, my head has gone big, like, because it's nice to be recognized for something you're passionate, that you're working hard and putting it out there, especially in a world where people can be very evil, right? I mean, especially YouTube, like YouTube people can be evil in the comments. So when you're getting good validation, who doesn't want that? Of course your head is gonna grow bigger, like duh.
yeah, it's
So what made the switch, if I'm to be curious, because you said last year was high and then this year, so what switched?
so yeah, I got really into the AI scene in general, anything related to AI really, about 2 years ago. And I stumbled upon AI art, and I joined a community called Night Cafe Studios, and I just clicked with it, and I grew really, really fast. Like I fell in love with the way that things were made, because my husband was away for work, and I was just alone, thousands of miles from my family, and I needed some sort of outlet, and this was perfect for me. And I loved that community, and I became one of the top artists in it. And then Stable Diffusion came out, Dolly, all this other stuff that I had been part of the beta team for. I tested a lot of that and was very on top of what's going on. And and yeah, I was so happy that I finally felt like I found myself, that I found my, because I had so many failed attempts, and I'm like, yes, I finally, did something. And I was, there was this on the site, there were at the time, maybe a year ago, there were millions of people on the site, and I was the fifth most liked creator on it. So like, and
Ching, 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 ching. I'm gonna
yeah,
cheers
I
by
was.
myself for you.
I don't have a drink, but yeah, I would get sometimes hundreds of comments on an image, and it felt really good to feel to have people say like, you made a difference to me, like you inspired me, and feeling like I was actually doing something. And then with the whole controversy came out, it was really difficult for me because I am an artist and I am involved with AI. And I had these kids, a lot of these like high school, college kids reach out to me, and they're like, I'm very confused about this. Like, whatever you say, as someone, like, I know you're an artist, I know that you're really into AI, and whatever your opinion is, that's what my opinion is too. And so I had so much pressure, like, oh my gosh, people look up to me. And I used to, it's like nobody cares about my opinion. And now I'm having these like impressionable youths like actually care what I think, because they saw me as like an anti type person. And so I like
Excuse me.
it was such a big deal for me to like really figure out what I was believing in, and where my stance was. And like, even though I love AI and everything, there are certain aspects that I I had to go back to my core values, and what is kind of represented in the AI group was people who were mean, lazy, untalented, unartistic. There's this stigma, and it's interesting because the like what I'm known for is the complete opposite. It was the complete opposite of what I stood for and what my personal branding is like as a human being. So, and I I couldn't really defend some of the aspects of it. So I had to step away from that. And that was really, really hard because I had just recently left my religion that I had been part of for my whole life. And so I finally found this community that was equivalent to like the morning podcast community. We were very close. And so it's like I had to kind of step away from it. And it wasn't until I found the morning podcast community that I really found a replacement. But yeah, it was hard. But I think it's again going back to like sticking to your core values. I think that sometimes I am a little sad and nostalgic about the past, and oh, maybe if I stuck to it, I could have maybe a million followers or whatever. But I think that I would have regretted it a lot if I didn't stay true to myself.
That's so true. And I condemn you for doing that, because in a world where we're so uh concentrated on the numbers and the followers, right? It's so
Yeah.
easy to be like, I'm already here. Fuck it, let's just keep on riding the wave, and I'll let them believe whatever they want to. But if you're
Hmm.
really passionate about your art and what you want to put out there, that aligns with your purpose and your core value, you take a second to look and be like, but will I be proud once this is out and I'm described as this, even though I don't stand
Exactly.
for it, but just to that. So it takes a lot of guts to decide to step away than to keep riding it. So I am proud of you. And it also shows that you cleaned the house, the right
Yeah.
ones are gonna you don't want also followers who are just riding the wave with you, but you want followers who are actually there for your purpose and for your core values. That way the support is even more real, because those people
Hmm.
who knows when would have had started selling stuff or anything, would they have really bought it, or were they just following the wave? Compared to people who now see your story, now you have a story, like you stepped away. People can relate to your purpose, whether when it's time to support, they will want to support because of your character. because character
Yeah.
is so important in this creative world, even though it's so easy to sell out. I'm not saying it's not easy. Like, you know, when you see the signs and you're like, I'm about to monetize and I'm about to be big, I'm gonna fucking sell out and I'll deal with it once I'm there, right? But once you're there, you forget about actually making it right. 'Cause, yeah.
Exactly. And so that's why I'm like, okay, so what is my reason? What is my reason for wanting to do this? Is it so I can get popularity, or is it because I want to get money, or is it because of, and I realize that for me, it's something I want to be proud of. It's something that, I mean, the money would be cool or whatever if I could get
Yeah.
that. But in the end, like, I want to be proud of myself.
True, and I'm proud of it. Like, anybody who says the money, they don't want the money is lying. Like, we all want
Oh
the
yeah,
money.
I want the money. I want to be a millionaire.
Me too. I want the money, but until I get the money, to just hear people come to me and telling me that your story touched me, or I'm doing this because of you, that makes my heart better, because I'd rather wait for the money but still know my purpose and stick to my core values than get the money and lose myself. Because again, I battle with depression, so I know if I start losing myself, who knows where I will end up in. So I need to stick to those core values and my purpose, because they keep me grounded when I feel like, you know what, maybe I should fucking buy them followers. But do I really want some bots on my shit who are commenting stupid fucking shit just for, or do I want real engagement where people are really engaging with what I've created? I'm like, yeah, okay, never mind. We're not buying no shit. So it's really, it's a tough thing. But and that's why anybody who starts a podcast, who comes to me and tells me they want to get in a creative world, I'm like, know your purpose and your core values and you'll be fine. Because if you don't know those, it's so easy to lose yourself.
Yeah, or if you try to, like, for a while, I was trying to be someone I wasn't. I told myself, like, I wanted to be this tech bro, this, like, total, I don't know, someone who just, I don't care what other people think. I'm just going to say what I want. And I became someone who wasn't myself. And I developed so much confusion and a lot of, because I tried to put this masculine persona, and then I was really confused about, like, my gender identity and all this stuff. And I was like, I feel like I'm a dude, but I'm not. And I would just be like, wake up in the morning and be so mad that I'm like, why don't I, like, whatever. And like, I went through this huge crisis of who I am because I was trying to be someone who I'm not. I wrote in my journal over and over, and on my profile, like, I am not an artist. I am an ex-artist. I did not want to be associated with artists because I just didn't like them. I'm like, no, I'm a tech pro. I'm not an artist. I'm learning I'm learning C++. I only do coding. I don't do art. Ew, losers. And so, yeah, I wrote
And
it
you
on my
really
profile.
sound like those tech bros.
I tried so hard to be like this douchebag who, like, didn't care about other people, but I couldn't do it. So, yeah.
I'm trying to see that, because the person who I met, I'm trying to see, like, because I've already met you in real life, right? So I'm trying to imagine you in that tech boy-ish, and I'm like,
yeah, it was really awkward. And like, I would draw my avatar as this tech bro and call him Chip. Tech bro Chip is my tech identity, because when I worked in,
I need you to send Chip to me after this, because I need to
I do
see
have a
Chip.
couple drawings of him. Yeah. Because when I worked in tech before, I worked in tech support, like, for several years. And
Dream career, what was your dream career? Because I know there was a dream career.
my dream career was a visual effects. Well, first it was a normal, like, a hand-drawn animator, but those went away. So
Marissa doesn't even know you like that, and she says, "Yeah, it's hard to picture that." Right?
Yeah, it was a complete mess. It was not good. It lasted like a month.
Wow, only a month? I was thinking like maybe you took it like 6 months.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, because when I was working in so I don't know how normal it is to like have different personalities for different things. Not like completely like you know who you are, but you like if I'm doing the dishes, then I have, um a
A
certain
different
person.
personality.
This person loves doing dishes. I have a person for,
You
like
create a
social
persona
events.
for, you have a persona for every, okay, guy.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. And I have names for all of them and I have drawings for all of them. And so
You and Melissa will get along very well because she has different personas as well. Wait, uh,
I thought
sorry,
it was
I know I'm not supposed to say she. Marissa has different personas. Excuse. You see, we all go through so many fascinating chapters. I literally go by like 6 names. I get this. You see,
yeah,
I
and I
said it, Sam. Oh my God, love that. I knew like, and that's why I feel like that's the reason why I also gravitated to you because for some reason I'm attracted to those characters. Like people who just like the way I fucking love Marisa, and we just met last year purpose, but we have literally one of my best. I can call my bestest podcast pals. Right?
and like
Go on with
so
your story. Sorry.
because yeah, so yeah, I have these different personalities that kind of helped me through. A lot of people who've gone through trauma, we develop these different personalities. Um, Like, so I went through a lot of sexism with being in tech, and people would be like, no, I only want like a dude or whatever. So I would put in this masculine, and like when my first day working tech, I came in, I had bows in my hair and curls and my nails done, and I was blonde at the time, and I was just
Oh, you
like,
was
oh,
a typical blonde girl in tech.
yes, yeah, I was like super, super girly. And I came in, and like I had 3 customers tell me, I don't want you to touch my computer. I want a man, or something along those lines. Like, I don't want someone with painted nails to touch my computer. So then the next day I dyed my hair like a like
You're
darker
like, I'm
color.
gonna show
I got
you.
glasses. I had my pants up to my belly button, and like I had like a pocket protector. And I like totally and like brought Chip into my like, but so yeah, I had to embrace that part of me. So that's what I brought in when I was being felt like I was being under attack. And so I'm like, they're saying I'm this person that I'm not. I'm gonna pretend I am that person. I am going to embrace my Chip. And yeah. And so, but I still had my inner artist. Her name is Ellie. And Chip and Ellie every night would have rap battles about the whole AI art. Like literally, like I'm not gonna rap out
Not
loud
rap
because
battles.
they would be cussing each other out and fighting, and I'm just like hearing them out. Because okay, so my real name is Holly. That's like my inner child though. Like when I hear Holly, I feel like I'm a child. So I don't like to go by that. Soda is like the name that kind of brings all of my different me's together. And so that's why I like to go by Soda. That's me.
Wait, that's why I say I think I need to do a live with you. And by the way, Sonic, the reason I've been calling you Marissa because you need to change it on your YouTube. Like I can't keep up. Like you need to update it over there. And then but I think I need to do a persona episode about personas with both of you too, because this is impressive. Also, I can't hear the name Chip and not picture Chip baskets. I love soda. Is it Sinfield inspired?
I so my dad actually worked on Seinfeld and knew everyone, but I've never seen the show. I haven't seen like any of the shows that he's worked on. So,
What was soda inspired by?
so my last name is Sotacon. And
Mm.
so, my husband people would call him Soda. And I'm like, hey, I want that nickname. That's cute.
So you stole it from your husband. You're like,
I
no, you
stole
can't
it from
keep
my
it.
husband.
You can't keep this nickname. I'ma keep it.
And
Both.
I'm
I
like,
have
well,
three
I
YouTubes with
am
different
very,
names. I'm still Marisa too. Oh my God. You see? Marisa is the like you two. I need to connect you two because literally.
yay. But
So
I feel
go
like
ahead.
soda like was very descriptive of me because I'm very sweet and bubbly, but
You
slightly
are.
toxic.
We all have some toxicity in us, whether people want to agree or not. We are all toxic to a certain level.
It's
What
true.
level is everybody's level is different, but we all have some toxic in us, and it takes you doing a work on yourself. Like you're going to therapy, people will actually start going to coaches. That's when you realize you also have some toxic level in
Yeah.
you. But we all toxic. Like nobody's
Mhm.
like we all have our toxicness. So.
See, I'm just like little baby toxic. I'm not like poison. You know, I'm not like arsenic or anything. Like I'm
I
just
feel
like
I feel like
soda.
I'm on the poison level. Like I can be to the poison level depending on the person, you know. But I'm also very sweet. Like I can be my toxic levels depends with who deserves the
Mm,
toxicness.
filtered.
I can bite or I can just be a little petty, but there's some days I just wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna be petty today. And that's when I wake up and I start on Nick. So whenever you see me at Clubhouse in the morning when I start going off on Nick, just know Paula is gonna be petty the whole day today because I woke up wanting to be petty.
I'm I'm not very good at being petty. Sometimes I can be, but like
I
sometimes
mean,
that
you
I
have
wish
chip.
sometimes I wish I could be like
You have chip. You don't need to be petty. You have chip.
that's Chip.
Just bring out the inner chip in you and you're fine.
Chip is a little petty.
But before we leave, I have two things to, because I can't believe it's almost an hour. I was having so much fun. Like, what is VFX animation? Because I know you yeah, for
Visual
the
effects.
gotcha short
So
form.
yeah, a lot of like maybe changing the background, changing someone's eye color, changing, you know, making explosions happen in the background, like that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. So you said you've already had one time you had your dream career, but health challenges and stuff. Do you still have a dream career in mind, or do you just now like have a dream something that you want to accomplish instead of a dream career?
So I can't really do a lot of animation anymore because I have really bad carpal tunnel and tendonitis, but I would, you know, I would love one day to be a talk show host.
I can see that.
I remember being 11 years old and hanging out with at the Jay Leno show. Because my dad worked over there and he was there and talking with us, and I was like, I want to do that one day. Either be a host or be like, I'm
Is
like,
it
I don't
me
really
or
want
is
to
it
be.
Soda? Who's stuck? You're back.
Oh, did I lose you?
Yeah, for a
Oops.
minute. Melissa says this was so fun, it flew by. Before you finish saying what you were saying, I want to say shout out to Marissa, who just I saw her
Thanks for
DM
hanging
right
out.
now. I know it really did fly by so fast, but she is watching us on her TV. So she sent me a screenshot. She was like live on TV. I'm like, oh my God, that's the most incredible thing ever. So thank you for blasting us on your TV and for being so active in the comments. You made
I'm
it
on
as much fun.
TV.
I know, right? I'm gonna repost it and tag you so you can see it. Continue about because you were talking about show host and what age seeing what, and then you
And
stuck over there.
yeah, and I was like, I want to be funny one day. I want to be funny and talk to people, and I don't know, but I didn't want to be like a TV show. Like I didn't want to be on TV, but like back then that's all I knew. So that's why I'm like a podcast is a good way to kind of get into that, and it's a similar kind of feel, and it's very disability friendly. So yeah. I like to
Well,
make that
Marissa
happen.
says, how fun. I hosted one last year, made my own locally. You can totally do it. So hit her because I mean, and I know Marissa should be on. I think I'm closing February with her. I think around this coming weekend, she's coming on my live. But she did her own comedy skits in a theater. She creates her own music videos. Literally, she made a music video by herself in less than 2 hours in her Airbnb and sent it to me. I was like, "What the fuck? Like what the fuck?"
That's so
Um,
fun.
very talented. So it happens. See how you can make this talk show happen. You see, she's rooting for you. So,
Aww.
so
I just have
you
to feel
know.
comfortable on camera because I hate being on camera. So
But that's the thing. I feel like you've kind of been doing that because you've been doing lives. I was motivated to start lives because of you after you had me on your live, and Soda had me on the live on the day actually I was going to Afros and Audios, and we talked about my presentation a little bit and
I'm
mental
turning that
health
one
and
into a podcast episode. Actually, I'm gonna edit it up because I loved it so
nice.
much.
Please do. I'd love to share it. It was very nice, and you kind of kicked me into being prepared for my talk. So it was like the best warm up I needed for my panel. So oh yeah, Marissa is coming on the 16th, 11 a.m. Yes, we're gonna have her. So but you have been much better. So I feel like again you are judging yourself. Like we are very critical about our own self compared to what people see. You have done amazing lives. You have done so many lives on IG. I don't know what you mean by getting comfortable in camera. But again, as Chris Cremisto says, start ugly. You've already done lives. You do YouTube. You've been doing YouTube forever. Like, come on, girl. Stop
I just get
making
so
excuses for yourself.
I'm pushing myself though. It's like every time because I have a lazy eye, that likes to wander, and people make fun of me a lot.
Marissa also has a lazy eye. Like she has high eyes. I call her high eyes. Like anytime I FaceTime with her, I'm like, "Are you high?" Like, no, I just woke up and the eyes
Everyone
are
asks
like
me if I'm high all the time. Like police, I'll be walking down the street, and people like the police will be like, "Are you okay?" Like,
She said, "Love hearing your story, and you read as comfortable on camera." There you go. I don't know. What more do you want? Okay, as we come to an end, right? So let the people know what you do, what you're all about, where they can find you, where they can connect you, what you have coming up, what to look forward, and tell them about the episode right now that's doing amazing so they can go and continue upping those downloads. And also leave an advice for those people who don't do well with the word no, and they feel like they need to give up on every no they get.
yeah. So again, my name's Soda, and my podcast is called The Success Palette. It's on basically all the podcast platforms. I have an episode that went up today called, let's see, I forgot what it's called, but
Tell me your podcaster without telling me your podcaster. We never know our podcast episodes, even though we just published them.
yeah, it's with Daniel Maluka, who's a writer and an artist, but he's really awesome. And yeah, and then I'm on my YouTube channel is called SodaCon Art, and I post art stuff and my podcast on there. And yeah, so just when you get a no, just know that if it were meant to be, it would be. And as long as you are doing all that you could be doing, then I believe that the universe will take care of the rest. So yeah.
It's so true. I feel like, you just, in Jesus' words, keep grinding and your time will come. Don't let, if the no is what's going to make you give up, then you're going to give up so much in this world. Don't let the no be the motivation to keep grinding and keep doing. Because again, as we said, it might have not been the right one for you, and the right one is right around the corner. I remember my first, I got an email for this sponsorship company that they wanted to sponsor me. I was so excited because this was the first time that a sponsor found me instead of the other way. And when I gave them my price, they were not okay with it, And at that point, I had the option of either reducing it because I was so excited and whatever, or just listen to my energy and say, it's okay, the right person will come. And I really needed the money. I was like, you know what? I don't even feel the product that well because I've used some of them and they really haven't worked for me. So maybe it's not for me. And I was like, cool. And 2 days later, shout out to my girl Eliquity, who's right for you, and she'll also be on this live sometime this week. She reached out to me. She was like, Paul, I want to sponsor you and I'll help you with your book because you've been talking about your book. I was like, cool. And the same amount that she charges was the same amount that I was charging those people who said no to me with. So, but I've been thinking about writing this book forever, and I got a free editor like for that price. So that was also eye-opener. I was like, sometimes it's okay to decline something that doesn't feel right, even though you need the money because the right match is just around the corner. You just have to be patient. And I think most of us lack patience. We need to learn to be more patient and believe in ourselves as much as other people believe in us.
Yeah.
And with that, thank you all first of all, thank you, Soda, for hanging out with me on Shit Happens. Thank you for making my Shit Happens logo without knowing you're creating a future logo. And thank you, Marisa, for hanging out with us and commenting and just cheering with us and just being there for us and shouting us on IG because I just saw your post. And everybody who's going to watch the replays and everything, thank you for watching, supporting. And until next time, and Shit Happens.
Shit happens.
Thank you for tuning in to Shit Happens, an integral segment of the innovative platform Talk Shit with Pete. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to hit subscribe and leave a review. You can find Shit Happens on YouTube at Talk Shit with Pete. If this served, share with friends or family who can relate. Remember, we all face challenges, but it's how we push past them that defines us. So, until next time, keep pushing forward. And remember, shit may happen, but so does growth. And you got this.